But businesses use them. Cummings uses them. All the businesses use these airports. FedEx, planes fly in and out. I work out of the Ag Center half a year, and lots of times in the morning I'm getting out of my truck on the way to work, and there's a FedEx airplane.
Right on your roof.
Yeah, coming right over me for the airport. There's been some talk, but not a lot of talk on the airport yet. I don't know if I answered your question or not, sir.
Yes, I was wondering what sort of increase in the tax base to Chautauqua County, if it is privatized, would that amount to on both of the airports?
I don't know what the tax base was. It would be about 16 cents less on your tax bill per thousand.
And
I
why?
can answer that.
Okay, and the sale of the nursing home first, as opposed to the potential sale of the airports, wouldn't that be less excruciating to make that privatization first, or is that not being considered?
It's being considered, but not strongly now. Coming off the Audit and Control Committee, I look at the money, and $4 million is worse than $1 million. So I thought I'd try to deal with the $4 million problem first.
Okay.
Ideal situation for the nursing homes would be a private public entity, which the state of New York, I understand, is against that.
Of course, they're against anything that
might work.
That might work.
There you go.
That's a hell of it.
There
I tell
you
you,
go.
I'm just so disappointed in our legislature down in New York. We got Andy Goodell on there. He's a good man. I remember him when he was a county exec. He was one of my first show, incidentally, when I was on WDOA radio.
Was he really?
That was 20-some-odd years ago or whatever. And he, in conjunction with our state senator, Kathy Young, and she is a princess. She has brought us a lot of dough, and she cares about Chautauqua County. They're down there trying their best.
I beat those 3 representatives we have in this county. I beat them up every time I see them.
Yeah.
So much that sometimes I even feel sorry for them.
They run when they see you, I'll bet.
Not really, but they probably want to.
Well, they appear here regularly, and you can call in and ask them questions. Ask some questions, pointed questions, Jay.
I live so far out in the country, I don't get this show.
Well, it doesn't matter. You know what time, 9 o'clock Saturday morning, it's on.
Just walk in, huh?
You don't just call up. You don't have to. You
Right.
don't have to be watching the show. And if you don't know what's going on, ask John. He'll tell you what's happening and who the guest is. Even
Good.
he'll even give you a question.
Oh, pre-canned questions, huh?
Yeah, sure. If you can't think of something to say, but I know I can tell from having you on here, you've been a good interview, and you will have a question ready and right waiting. I know that. We're talking to JayGould. He's the new leader of the Chautauqua County Legislature. He is officially the chairman. Do you call it chairperson? Are you politically correct? Are you the chairman?
They call me the chairman, but it should be chairperson because I remember Jane Fagerstrom.
Well, she said, call me chairman.
Well, okay.
So it worked out okay, as I
Chairman
remember.
then.
But well, woman has men in it. So what's a big hat? I'm too old to be politically correct. I still say fireman and mailman.
Oh.
Believe it or not. And I always get a call from somebody who says, what age do you live in? I said, probably about in the 30s when I was born. Mm-hmm. Okay, Jay. We have callers coming in. We'll have to wait until they get them lined up here. You wanted to talk briefly again about the public defender. Would you keep chopping you off here?
Yeah,
it's a political battle. Wait, we got another call. You want to take the call first?
Let's take the call.
Okay, the caller. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting. Hello there, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's up?
Good morning. My question is about the amount of Medicaid that is being attached with our county tax bill.
That's half your bill, and I must say that our county executive, Mr. Edwards, Greg has said very simply, we're just not going to send them money anymore.
Well, you know, and I understand that, except that in our case, it's more than half the bill. In our case, a portion for Medicaid for our total county tax bill is over 65% of the total bill.
It's outrageous because the state had no business saddling the individual counties, especially the poorest county in the country just about and the most overtaxed, with this hideous, huge bill. And it's outrageous. No other state has ever done this.
So what are we doing, Mr. Gould, at this point? What are we doing to make a change there for the county taxpayers?
That's one of the things I beat up the state legislators about every time I see them is Medicaid reform. I'll give you a little history lesson on this. A few years ago, the federal government wanted to set up a medical program for the poor. And so Rockefeller went to Washington. He was our governor then. And some states the federal government would pay half. The other half would go to the states. And he said, well, our counties will pay a quarter and our state will pay a quarter if the feds will pay half. And there were some poor states like South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. They said, we can't afford that. We'll only pay 10% or 12%. Well, the whole problem is that these states have become rich states, and New York State became poor, and even poorer after 9/11. We lost 27% of our tax base when the Twin Towers went down in New York City. And there's been nothing done about that. Some of those states like South Carolina, which has Charlotte in it, or I want to say North Carolina, I guess, has Charlotte in it, should be paying a quarter. We should be paying 10 or 15% at the present time. And of course, those states don't want to change. But the best answer, I'm sorry, go ahead, ma'am.
I guess that the problem is not so much in paying, because I really believe that those who are in need should get some form of help. But there ought to be something on the front end that deals with how do you qualify for Medicaid. I see individuals who choose not to work because if they go to work, they will lose their Medicaid and welfare benefits. Shouldn't we have tighter controls on the front end that would disallow some of these individuals from being eligible for Medicaid?
Absolutely, and another thing we could do would be to not offer 27 or 30 programs, instead offer 7 or 8 basic programs rather than 27 or 30 like they offer down in New York City, and that's where that's controlled. And I keep suggestion that maybe the counties ought to be able to set the programs that they want to carry.
Yeah,
that's
it's been
another thing I beat my state
They call it the Cadillac of all Medicaid programs in New York State.
Absolutely. When Texas and California combined are spending less on the program than we are,
yeah, and also
there's something wrong with our program.
Some of these states you're commenting on, in the South especially, they have very low income levels for Medicaid. Like if you make over $6,000 in some of them, you don't get Medicaid, you don't qualify.
Right.
It's insanity.
Right.
And here anybody qualifies just about, especially if you're in this county, because there's so many people who are impoverished.
Right. I agree with you 100%, ma'am.
So if you're putting a commission or a committee together to look at selling or not selling the Chautauqua County home, is there any activity going on in our county legislature to put a committee together to maybe look at this? Maybe we should tighten our belts, and maybe we should tighten the controls, and maybe we should say, wait a minute, before we allow you to be eligible for this benefit, because it's not an entitlement,
right.
We need to make sure that you truly qualify, and that would give money to those who do need it, but not continue to give money to those who don't. So is there such an effort underfoot at this point?
Not at this point, but I will take that under advisement. That's a good suggestion. And I will charge the Human Services Committee or set up an ad hoc committee.
Yeah, you have to set up a lot of that. Well, thank you a lot, caller, for
Okay.
shining a little light on one of the really ulcers
Thank you.
of New York State, and especially the counties, and especially Chautauqua County. Medicaid, which is just killing us with the taxes. All right, we're here for the last couple of minutes here with Jay Gould. Our time is running down a little. Jay, is there anything in particular you want to bring to our focus or attention that is going on in the legislature besides the question of the public defender, which we never seem to get to?
The question of the public
Yeah.
defender will solve itself next Wednesday, I believe.
What will
I
happen?
think that'll be over. I think one or the other of them will win by a vote.
Any predictions?
No, sir.
No, you don't predict, do you?
No.
But you
I
know.
run the meeting, that's
But you
all.
know. I'll bet you know. Especially since you're in charge. You hold the whip.
Well, have you ever tried to herd cats? As long as we're talking about cat food
I haven't
this
had
morning?
5 of them at one time.
Well, you know all about it then.
Although mine are real cuddly now. I got 2 left. They sleep with me, and the big lap cats.
They're pretty good to me right now. There's still a little bit of a honeymoon going on. And
Oh, of course. You were very brave to come on the first month of your tenure, because most when I asked them to come, they, oh, no, I got to get the ropes, got to figure it out, I got to find out what's going on, and then they won't come on for months, you know.
I've been around up there long enough, so I know what the problems are, and I'd like to get a few of them solved
Yeah.
in my tenure. And
Yeah, well, you come back shortly and tell us a little bit how things are going. How's
I
that
will.
sound?
I'll be glad to.
We'll ask Fred to come in and pinch hit for you occasionally.
You can call anybody. I gave you
I've got a
whole
wonderful
list of-
laundry list of everybody who's
with their
anybody in the
phone
legislature.
numbers, and call any of the legislators. And
Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk to Lori one of these days. She's the minority
absolutely.
leader now.
Absolutely.
She's on the other side of the aisle, although I notice the aisles there's a pretty narrow gap between the
They're
aisles.
getting narrower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Jay, I'm going to give you the last minute, and this is your way. This is your time uninterrupted to just close off and say whatever you want to say.
I don't have a lot to say because, like Reed has said, I haven't been there very long yet. I will try to be fair in everything I decide. If I fail, it won't be because I didn't work at it. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a workaholic, that I work about 7 days a week. There's some very, very tough decisions that are going to have to be made in the county right now. Our finances are number one. County home, I feel, is number two. That is a very, very touchy situation. I just can't have everybody's tax bill supporting the county home. It isn't fair to people. I guess that's about it, Reed.
Well, I do.
I'm not big on flowery speeches.
You told me that. You said you're interested in coming on maybe 4 times a year.
Right.
Okay. Well, we'll see you in 3 months then.
Whatever.
And,
See me after I've been there a few minutes.
Right, exactly. And I do appreciate you giving up your Saturday morning to come over here and talk to people. It wasn't that hard, was it?
Well,
It was kind of fun.
it was snowy this morning, and I had probably 4 inches of new snow at
Oh,
home, and the
sure,
roads were
coming.
slippery all the
Right.
way up here. And
God bless you for.
I
Where
come
do you have to
from.
come from? You said
I live up on the ridge, up by State Line Racetrack, up in that area.
in Harmony.
Yes, on the Hogue Road, the last place on the Hogue Road, New York
Okay.
State.
Well, I do appreciate you coming and answering the questions. You did a fine job, and I look forward to your next visit with us. And by then, as you say, you may have a little more information. And I'm getting this funny sound. We're out of here.
Are we?
Well, we're done. We're finished. So I'll close up with a couple of quick words here. I want to thank Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, Chris Remaker, Jeff Zook, who's our chief engineer, and Don Zenz, John Hamels, and all those beautiful people out there. Sorry, our last caller, you didn't get in time. We'll catch you next time. Jay will be back. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you over the week. I'm Reed Powers.